Hello everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. We do all kinds of things here. We do true crime, general discussion, product reviews, makeup, SFX makeup, food content, and most importantly, at least to me, Disney content. But this is not going to be Disney content. This is hard. This is a tough subject, but I feel like it needs to be talked about. So just a note, this video is on the longer side because of the clips I'll be adding at the end. They're pretty long, but you know, if it's a topic you're interested in, it'll be worth it. In this video, we are going to revisit a topic of discussion that I find very distressing. Of course, any case we talk about where people, particularly children, are harmed, tortured by others is always very distressing. And some of you may feel like this is old news. And why am I bringing it up now? Why am I talking about it now? Well, the subject of this video, or one of the subjects of this video, has requested a new trial. And I am going to make a follow-up video of this to discuss that in more detail, discuss that further. And also, and that's going to come up very soon, hopefully. And also, it's because it needs to be remembered. I just don't understand how humans can treat another living thing the way that these victims are treated. I don't understand this world. I don't. And I especially have a difficult time understanding how a mother could hurt their child. I just don't get it. I like to believe that at the end of the day, we would all rather help each other than hurt each other. I do feel that. Or I do wish I could feel like that. Most of us anyway. Now, there are a lot of sayings that people have that really drive me crazy, because as much as we do want to believe the best of people, I think that we've all seen so much bad in the world that it's really hard to believe that there is that much good left in the world, if there was ever that much to begin with. Like I've heard sayings like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. I think most of us can agree that that is not true at all. That's not true at all. Or, God chooses the strongest for his army. I don't know about that either. But one saying that I've heard a lot in my life where, special needs children are involved is God gives the most needy children to the most special parents. I think that we all know that that is absolutely, completely untrue. We've seen time and time again how that is untrue. At least with the true crime channels. And these are real crimes we're talking about. I follow children with special needs cases, and I find that they are often the ones that are left behind, hurt, injured, killed. So in today's video, we are going to revisit the Timothy Ferguson case. Just because no one's been, talking about Shanda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson. And I don't think that they should get to, slink back in the shadows. I don't. Yes, they are both in prison. Paul for 30 years and Shonda for life. But they don't deserve us to be silent about them. They don't. Mainly because Timothy deserves to be remembered. They don't get to just like I said, slink into the shadows. Yes, they're doing their time. I get that. But it is nothing compared to what they both put Timothy through. And, they get a bed. It may not be the most comfortable bed in the world, but it's better than a tarp in a tiny closet, like Timothy got. That's what they gave Timothy to sleep on. They get 3 meals a day, which is way, way more than Timothy ever got. And watching Shonda's trial, it was clear to me that Timothy really had nobody. Like, he had his older brother Nolan and his older sister Millie, who I think she has changed her name since then, but they weren't there. Not really their fault, but they weren't there. They couldn't protect him. I don't know their story, but judging from their victim impact statement, that they made at Shonda's sentencing, they were not big fans of hers. They knew what she was. We should never forget about these two, Shonda and Paul, never, and what they did to Timothy. Never. And Timothy, shouldn't be forgotten either. And I'm not letting Paul off the hook. I'm not. I know a lot of people think, oh, he was innocent. He was a victim also. He was mentally mistreated by Shonda. And, that's why he did the things he did. But I have a hard time having any sympathy for him after all, the true crime videos that I've watched and all the true crime stories I've heard of children being starved by their parents. One kid is starved, but the siblings are fine. They're being fed. And their siblings try to sneak them food and water and stuff. Children a lot younger than Paul. And I feel like it's an instinct for these kids to want to take care of a sibling in need. And that it never occurred to Paul to help. It never occurred to him to help. Timothy, that just doesn't fly with me. He was an adult, so he was responsible for his own actions. And, he chose to carry out and, in my opinion, enjoy the heinous things that his mother wanted him to do, to Timothy. So for those, now let me get on. So for those who don't know, I'm going to inform you who Timothy is. So Timothy Ferguson was a 15-year-old boy with special needs. He had ADHD, according to his mother. He had autism, a sensory processing disorder, bipolar disorder, speech impairment. And he was tortured to death by his own mother, Shanda Vander Ark, and his older brother, Paul Ferguson. Timothy died in his Norton Shores, Michigan home in July 2022. He died due to extreme malnutrition and hypothermia. That's right, he died in July of hypothermia. He weighed only 69 pounds at the time of his death. At his height and age, he should have weighed between 120 to 134 pounds. This wasn't a matter of the mom not being educated on, how to take care of her children. Including Paul, she had 3 seemingly healthy adult children and a younger child that was fine, but she took exception to Timothy for whatever reason she had. I don't know what her psycho brain was thinking. And again, she had a younger child, and we're going to refer to him as G, but we probably won't talk about him a whole lot in this video, but to say that he doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. Vander Ark was apparently very intelligent. She graduated law school where she did very well. She was a law clerk, but there is a difference between book smart and just being smart in life in general. And in my opinion, where it mattered, she was stupid. Okay? It's stupid to starve your child to death. Anyone can remember facts. Anyone can study for the bar exam. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. The logic and reasoning portion is probably the most difficult, but it can be achieved. I mean, I know the bar is hard, okay? And that's not lost on me, but I'm just saying I've met some great lawyers that are dimwits in life, and she's really not that special in that regard. She isn't. But like I said, where it mattered, she wasn't smart. She's stupid. She's a very evil woman. I mean, this is evil what she did, because Timothy suffered. He suffered for a long time because of this beast of a woman. And what's sad is he was living with his father. His father had legal custody of him. His father's name is Eric Ferguson. But his father didn't want him. He said he couldn't handle him. And Timothy, may have had autism and, special needs. But he wasn't stupid. He died knowing he was unwanted. And there was no one that cared for him in his life that could rescue him. And again, he had older siblings that spoke at Shonda's trial, and I'm sure that they feel bad now, but judging by what they said when they spoke at the trial, or the sentencing hearing, they knew how this woman was. They may not have known exactly what she would do, to Timothy, but I feel like they had to have had, some inkling, that she was going to do something, bad. And, no one stepped in to help. No one stepped in to help him. And I have a really hard time excusing anybody involved in his life for what happened, for what happened to him. No, I'm not blaming his older siblings. I'm not blaming them. It's just sad that they couldn't be there for him. They couldn't. That's not where they lived, and, everybody has their own life to live. I wish there were charges that could be brought up against his biological father, who basically fed him to this wolf. He fed him to her. She wasn't even supposed to have him. There was a court order in place. He wasn't supposed to have him in her custody because she lost custody of her children years earlier. She lost custody of them. She was given the option of having her parental rights revoked or letting her ex-husband have full custody of the children, where she would have 3 hours of supervised visitation a month. She wasn't supposed to have him. She wasn't even supposed to have Timothy. Her ex-husband, Timothy's biological father, gave him to her. And by the way, he lives in my town now, and I found him. I'm not going to dox him, but he's here, and I know right where he lives, and that's not a threat. But I am tempted to go, stand outside at his house just away from his property and, bullhorn Betty him. I'm kidding. I won't do that. But I do feel like he needs to be held accountable, for what happened. And maybe he answered questions about it. I don't know why he wasn't called as a witness, though. But he's getting away with this. And to me, that's sickening. He should have known. He was married to her. It seems the starvation and torture of Timothy started after his stepfather, Adam Vander Ark, had a stroke and went to live at his parents' home, where he was able to better get around. And he was probably safer there. This man was probably safer there, because she may have very well, started mistreating him as well, if she wasn't already, if he stayed, because she's such a monster. She's such a monster. Timothy was homeschooled and was kept very, very isolated by Shonda. He had no friends. He wasn't allowed out into the world. He wasn't allowed outside. She never took him anywhere. He was only permitted in the backyard to take the dogs out or to run up and down the steps as punishment. Other punishments for his offenses, like merely existing, included being fed bread drenched in Carolina Reaper Trinidad Scorpion pepper hot sauce, 4 to 5 slices at a time. And if he finished those, Shonda might let him have some plain bread. She might let him have some plain bread. What a saint. He was forced to sleep on a blue tarp in a closet Shonda and her enforcer son, Paul, called the small room. A space police say stunk of urine and feces. He was deprived of sleep, cuffed with zip ties and shackles, deprived of access to food. His bathroom breaks were timed and very limited. The time was very limited. Shonda even suggested to Paul to put hot sauce on Timothy's privates, which Paul says he refused to do. He was also given hours-long ice baths. At her sentencing, the judge, made mention of 2 other things that were not discussed during her trial. But she had the idea of blindfolding him, which they ended up supposedly not doing, but they could have done that when cameras weren't on. And also, she had the idea of forcing him to drink salt water, but decided against it, not because it could hurt him, not because it could kill him, but because he'd take longer on the toilet because it would cause him diarrhea.
And there's 2 other things that didn't come out in the trial that were in the messages. One, that there was talk of blindfolding him, depriving him of his physical sight as a punishment. And the last thing that struck me is just absolutely horrific in terms of your thinking. There was mentioning of giving him salt water as a punishment. One of the text messages talks about, hey, tell Paul or tell Tim that I'm not going to do the saltwater punishment. And your reasoning for not punishing him was that, oh my God, we can't get him salt water, that could hurt him, that could kill him. But it was because you didn't want to give him another excuse to sit down on the toilet because he'd have diarrhea. He'd have diarrhea, and so he would have an excuse to sit down for a few more minutes while he was diarrhea from salt water. That was your excuse. That was your justification.
I am going to eventually post her trial. It'll be several videos that I'll put in a playlist, but it'll be long, so I have to break it up. But I wanted to show you what a fraud, what a fake, phony performer she is. We will start with this video I obtained from Rottweiler Investigations here on YouTube. Great channel. Check them out.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Officer Stefanich. Right now, we got some people coming over to talk to you, okay? You have another son inside the house?
I have 2. Yeah.
Are they sleeping still right now?
One of them is, yeah. The 20-year-old's awake.
He's 20?
No, the 20-year-old's awake.
Okay.
He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple of weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me. He's 15. He's been...
He has autism?
Yeah.
Like a high functioning?
Yeah. I had no clue how bad it was. Oh my God. Like I said, he did this back in, my husband's stroke was January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So he did this back in, I don't know, second week of January for almost 3 weeks. And then he ate something last night. I can't remember what it was now, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where's your husband now?
He's down at his parents' house because he can't get in our house because of the truth. He can't get up the stairs.
Oh.
And nobody's answering the phone at their house. Oh, how did it? Oh.
You can go back in the house if you want, but I can't. I gotta keep the basement secure. You can't go down there, okay?
I get it. I had no idea. I would have taken him in or something. Oh.
Now, you said the last time you saw him was 5:30 this morning?
Yeah.
Did he say anything?
He had fallen out of bed.
At 5:30?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't earlier?
I mean, it's possible. I thought it was 5:30, but I wasn't super awake. I heard a thunk, and I came down, and he's kind of laying on his side, kind of like, what the heck? And I reached out. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. And I reached out and he pulled himself up. And I asked him if he's okay. And I just asked if he hit his head. He said, no, I think I hit my knees on my chest. I think. He couldn't tell me how he fell. Oh my god. No, I don't know what to do. Oh my god. He said it's okay. And then.
Do you have other family here in town?
Well, in West Olive, but they're not answering.
Yeah.
My father-in-law's an attorney.
Best thing to do is surround yourself with family. Help you get, because right now you're going through it by yourself, and you get overwhelmed.
No idea. How could I have missed that? He's been wearing baggy. I mean, he was wearing a hoodie for crying out loud, and I just didn't. His face didn't look like that. What the heck?
Now, what's your first name, ma'am?
Shonda, Shanda.
And what's your last name? Is it Ferguson also?
No, it's Vander Ark. Vander space capital ARK. That's why I asked him to eat last night, because his face started looking a little thin. I'm like, okay, enough. And he wouldn't show. I'm like, let me see. Hold your shirt up. And he wouldn't hold his shirt up. He wouldn't do anything.
Did he get real skinny last time too?
Yes. The only reason I know is because my 7-year-old walked in on him accidentally when he was in the shower downstairs. And then my 7-year-old comes up and he's like, Mama, Timothy's really skinny. I was like, oh.
Was that this time or last time?
That was last time. That was like first week of February is when DC discovered that. And I told him he was either going to start eating multiple times a day, or I was taking him to the hospital, and he didn't want to go to the hospital. So he
ended up eating on his own.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so this last time, was it because your husband's wasn't home?
Well, he hasn't been home since January 3rd, but he had a grand mal seizure. God, it's been 3 weeks ago now. And it was right after that. He actually mentioned he was hungry the day his dad and stepmom called to tell us they were divorced and moving to Florida last week.
Where do they live?
They lived in Oklahoma, but they moved to outside of Jacksonville, Florida, and they're not answering their phone either.
Okay. And that's his biological father?
Yeah. Yeah. He moved up here with us last May because his dad couldn't handle him. And he's been great. I mean...
Last May, like, as in May of last year or this year?
Yeah, May of last year.
Okay.
May of last year.
And he goes to school and everything he was?
I've been homeschooling him online. Because it's high functioning. He's just done better at it. I can show you his grade report online. I've got all the...
She's just such a manipulative bitch. And here she is when she turned herself in to the police. She's disgusting. She's putting on a total act. She's such a bad actress. But here it is.
All right. You're going to be charged with child abuse right now. I believe it's the first or second degree. So it is a felony. So you won't be able to get out of jail until you see the judge, until all the warrant paperwork's down there, okay? Which will probably be tomorrow. All right.
Sorry.
No, I'm the bearer of bad news right now. You know? Yeah, it's been a bad couple days.
Bad 6 months. I've had a stroke 6 months ago. Sorry.
Nope, you're all right. I do have to handcuff you, but I'll do it in the front.
If my blood sugar crashes, I need that.
Are you diabetic?
I'm reactive hypoglycemic.
Okay. Do you take medication for that?
No. I have a service dog normally, but I didn't bring him.
Yeah.
For good reason.
All right. I can let you have that all the way up until the jail. But the jail won't let you bring in any kind of food or nothing. So if you want to drink it, you can always drink it now.
Just worried I won't keep it to my stomach.
All right.
I haven't been able to keep anything down
No.
the last couple of days.
I don't want you puking then if you're going to try to drink it.
I can try. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. So I got my handcuffs on you. I'm going to do it in the front because I know you're not going to give me any problems. But we're going to have to go down there.
Strength.
Pardon?
I don't have the strength to do anything. I wouldn't anyway. But did y'all lose an officer?
But I have to cuff you.
Did y'all lose somebody?
Yes, a Detroit officer was killed yesterday.
I'm so sorry.
Yep. Come this way. I need you.
Trash. I'm sorry. Trash can. Trash can. I don't have anything in my stomach. I'm sorry.
You're all right. Do what you got to do. Mm, 96.5. Really? That's a little bit lower than normal. Most. Which a lot of people ask, like, what the?
Yeah, when they see 98.6, they think, oh, that's good. I'm like, no, it's not.
I got your ID here.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm gonna take them cuffs off. You gotta put everything in this bag here, including all your jewelry.
All I've got is that.
Pardon?
All I've got is those.
Okay.
Okay, I'm lightheaded. I'm sorry.
That's right. Take these on. Can you just sit?
Huh?
Can you just sit while you sit?
I'm trying not. Oh my gosh.
You have a shirt on underneath there? You have to take your sweatshirt off, but you get to keep it. It just makes it easier to search you.
Okay. But I get to keep it?
Yes.
Okay.
You probably won't be able to keep the headband, though.
That's fine.
They usually make...
What about the scrunchie?
Probably not. Anything that you might be able to hurt yourself with, they take automatically.
You gotta hurt yourself with the scrunchie.
Yeah, I know. Belts and stuff like that, shoelaces. All right. Oh, what kind of shoes you got?
They're basics.
All right. I'll have to take them in a little bit here, but I like to have them keep it on you as long as possible. So it's because the floor is cold.
It is cold in here.
Yep, that's why it's actually good. It's good that you got the sweatshirt. I try not to come here.
I know, right? I need you to take your hairband off for me too as well.
She has a scrunchie also.
Yep, they gotta come out as well. There's something wrong with you?
She's feeling a little lightheaded.
No, my stomach's really upset.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Alright. Vander Ark, do you have any other last names?
What's my maiden name?
What's your maiden name?
Ramsey.
You do drugs?
No. I haven't been able to keep anything down since yesterday.
She's had a rough 2 days.
Okay.
And here are a couple clips from court. One of her having a panic attack, and one is a reaction that I don't buy at all to a picture the prosecutor showed her.
About 5, maybe 10 minutes. So I'll have you retired to the jury room. Please rise.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub? I'm sorry.
Gotta make me a moment.
Yes. That's fine. Miss Vander Ark, do we have a trash can?
I did. I placed a
You
trash.
did?
Yeah.
All right. Would you like the jury removed?
I'll keep it.
All right. Please rise.
Forever the victim, never the victimizer. She's not guilty. Her sister said in an interview with Zav Girl here on YouTube, and I'll try to remember to link it below, that she's always been like that. And I plan on doing another video where I discuss that interview. Zav Girl does a great job. I just have some commentary on it. And it is not lost on me that Shonda had a very toxic upbringing where hot sauce and sleep deprivation were used. And from what I understand, a very bizarre marriage to Timothy's father, Eric. And we will discuss that in an upcoming video, but there is no excuse for what she did to Timothy. I had a very toxic childhood too. I didn't abuse my son. I hate it when people blame a bad childhood for their adult behavior. Yeah, it's rough to get through, but you have to get through it. Shanda Vander Ark is an evil monster who has been a cancer on her family for years. Her surviving children want nothing to do with her, including the youngest, like I said before. She has failed them all. She murdered their precious brother by torturing him, starving him, and freezing him to death. We'll talk about Paul more in another video. That's a whole nother thing where I do commentary on his police interview. He's so weird. And I will also do commentary on his testimony from when he testified against his evil mother. I think he's putting on a bit of an act himself. But that's all for this video. I will talk to everyone very soon. We're going to discuss this request for a new trial. But that's all. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.